There was some Avowed.
There was Avowed, which is a really strange game. So I played about 6-7 more hours of it on my own show in first person, and let me tell you, boy, those animations are made for first
person. You can tell, yeah.
It's extremely clear.
I mean, I remember like when I saw Mirror's Edge third person mods, and it was like,
and you're like, no,
they did not. This wasn't built for this at all. Her torso was just like, yeah.
So Avowed is really interesting because people keep comparing it to Skyrim, which is a game that came out 25 years ago. And every time I see that, somebody goes, Pat, Skyrim didn't come out 25 years ago. To which I say, yeah, I know. It didn't.
No, Morrowind?
Who cares? But the point is, is that Avowed is really interesting because it looks like Oblivion or Skyrim. It looks like a big open world RPG on your New Vegas or your, that kind of thing, or Cyberpunk, right? But what they've done is that Obsidian has realized that they don't have infinite money to compete on that scale. And so what they've done is they've said, okay, what can we do? What can we cut? What matters? Kind of thing. And so you have a game like that where you go to swing your fucking axe at somebody in town and they're completely invincible, and the entirety of suite of mechanics for what happens if you act badly in town just doesn't exist.
Yeah, it seems there's no doing anything.
And I can definitely agree with that, because it's like, okay, yeah, you do that in town once and then it goes bad for you and then you don't do it again.
So save time, save budget, reduce this whole thing down, and just don't even let you do it.
Yeah, somebody in the chat says it's not a Scrolls-like, it's a KOTOR-like, just in first person, which I actually think that would be a much better example. Very good first-person combat for this genre.
Okay. I
really like it. I unlocked the parry, I unlocked bullet time for the guns, and it feels really good.
See, but when someone says a KOTOR-like, I then go to like, oh, so the story and the RPGing and the conversations and all that are the compelling
very
parts.
Much more like that.
Yeah, okay.
Talking to random character for 15 minutes.
Yeah,
getting some exposition. It's got a good parry. Let me just say that. The parry is good. It has the right timing.
Okay. So I didn't see anything that was my jam. Yeah. It really wasn't my thing. However, Fishman Garrus is a very quick way to my heart.
They're super.
That is a shortcut, and it's almost cheating to put both of those things together. And I'm like, if you're going to be hanging out with other versions of that, like voice actor you love and great character design, and you just smash it together, you can do that. You can cheat me over to your side. It's bullshit, but it works.
It kind of feels a little bit like Mass Effect in that you go to camp and then your boys stand around at their designated spot, and then you go to talk to them and you exhaust just every single fucking line of dialogue this person has, and then later after a big event they'll refresh that dialogue, and it does like the very similar shot reverse shot as Mass Effect, even though your character doesn't have voice acting because you're a fucking disgusting mushroom person. Overall, like, it's very solid. It's not going to set the world on fire. Like, it is not ambitious or against the grain like something like Kingdom Come Deliverance is. It's a very well put together, reasonable, interesting RPG. Like, this would be pure AA back in the day.
So you've spent a ton of hours in Pillars. What is does this feel like the same world and the same kind of setting, and like are the characters and overall vibe like matching that? Yeah, okay.
100%. So like this is one of those things, like, it's a spin-off. So hey, you don't have to play Pillars 1 or 2. You don't have to. But if you do have 2 games worth of background on the setting, literally every single thing that comes out of someone's mouth will add a little extra piece of context for you. That you'd be like, So like Kai, Hot Fishman, for example, is a former sailor in the Rowatine Navy, which is like an imperial force of Fishmen, very expansionist, which multiple party members in the past of the prior games have been, but he has a different take on it. And so his view of his country's army is now the third perspective you have received of party members throughout the series.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
Okay.
And the other thing is that I don't want to go into it here because it's the podcast and this reaches very wide, but I described that the end of Pillars of Eternity 2 is such a ridiculous fiction annihilating calamity.
Yeah, now that I know. Yeah.
That feels like they really never intended to continue the
this
setting
world
at all. And this game starts up with, okay, so that thing is going to be the primary problem that you need to fix in this game because it is a dramatic cataclysm.
Okay.
But they don't go into how that happened.
Oh, so far. Okay.
Like the root cause of the problem, that's for Pillars 2 to go into.
Okay.
All that matters here is we have the problem and you must fix it.
We're living in the effects of Pillars 1, but we can't do anything that would fuck up the proper
they
sequel.
do interesting things, like they'll have characters that died in Pillars 2 and be like, "Oh, they're back." And you'll be like, "What? They're back?" And they all really fucked up. It was crazy. It's wild that they survived that shit. Like the character in particular that is back is a character that I atomized in Pillars 2. Like full jib, like corpse explosion. And I guess they got better.
Okay. Did you, with extra hours, note that, like, is it, as the guess was, like, one, did you switch up party members from town to town? Or
no, I did not. The first big area is very needy. So I was just doing that. Though what's interesting is that they have at the end of your first big main quest, they have a big storyline moment which asks you whether or not you want to accept powers from a strange new source or not. And if you do, you get completely unique abilities associated with it.
Okay.
Something like a Jedi power or something like that.
Okay.
But if you don't, you get an extra generic skill point. And you don't know what these powers are going to be before you get them.
Okay.
So, despite the thematic thing going on there, there's like, do you want to get to the end of the game with like 12 extra skill points in the regular tree? Because that would be really strong. Or do you want a wide cavalcade of irregular abilities that you may not care about some? I'll take any Eldritch Power a game offers me. So that was easy.
Is that kind of like in Baldur's Gate 3 when you go the I forgot what the name of the run is, but the like crazy tadpole run, yeah.
Well, no, it's more like it's more like either or rather than yes or no.
Okay.
But yeah, Avowed is a really interesting game. I like it. It was pretty solid for me, like stable wise. I'll pick away at it in the background. Definitely not going to keep streaming it.
I hope that Garrus isn't the front-loaded, like, strongest and like party member in the game in terms of just like people you want to hang out with. I hope that they're equally as compelling.
Any of the other ones are. I think one of the reasons that people are comparing Avowed to very similar but larger scope games is because it costs the same. Like,
damn. Okay.
Like that. Like somebody in the chat pointed out, $100 in Canada.
Yeah.
And it's like, if it's $100 in Canada, I should be getting a $100 in Canada game, like Kingdom Come Deliverance or Baldur's Gate 3. And I talked about it a little bit on my stream.
Or Hunter x Hunter Net Impact.
Yeah. Oh. The for RPGs in the next 10 years, the phrase, "Why isn't this as big as Baldur's Gate 3?" is going to be like a fucking death knell, like over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah. I mean,
why not? Why not?
Okay, but
why didn't you guys patch multiple expansions worth of content like Baldur's Gate 3
because
did?
that's the thing. It's like literally as we speak, there is a giant Baldur's Gate 3 patch. It's like about to
Sitting there in a stress test
coming through right now. And apparently needed its own patch before the patch and whatever's going on.
I saw a very similar tweet that was like, "Hey, how come Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is cheaper and it didn't cost as much to make?" Even though it's so big, and it's quite a large game. And it's like, oh, could it be because the fucking devs are in fucking Eastern Europe and their dollar isn't the same value? So it's actually, if you did the fucking local Europe to Euro or USD, it would actually cost like $1 billion fucking dollars.
Right.
Is that why? Is that why, maybe?
But it is interesting because I'm like, as I'm playing Cyberpunk right now, it's like that game's still getting touched and updated in quality of life and improvements and stuff. You know,
yeah.
Like, it's a nice feeling that it's like, oh yeah, there's a long tail of service on this game, and you know they legit want it to be like the best quality of life version of itself that
That's
it can
so
be.
Crazy that they could keep supporting Cyberpunk for so long, and that it has nothing to do with the fact that the Cyberpunk devs own the second largest PC game retailer, and they are paying their people in Polish dollars, which is like one fucking quarter of the CAD, and so they could spend 1 million hours on it, and it's fine.
Hey man, you gotta you gotta put your blockbusters out so that you could fund your A24s or whatever, right? Yeah,
we gotta fucking outsource these RPGs to Europe. God damn it.
It's not a fair comparison to go, why is not everything like a Larian game? It is.
You're totally right, unless you're paying with your money.
But what I was going to say is it's not a fair comparison. However, personally, I'm just going to be less interested in the Baldur's Gate 3 one.
Yeah.
So what's the because again, full outsider, like touching a couple hours of that game, I can't believe how fucking incredible. Like it's super nuts how far it goes, and watching Avowed, like just starting up its intro section and going through that slice. I'm like, okay, like I see what's going on here. I don't know that. Yeah, I don't like the length, the hours. I don't know that I would need that much to grab me. It, like I would definitely need to see a bit more Baldur's Gate 3-ish things going on without putting that on every game. It would have worked if I saw more of it though.
People are pointing out that Baldur's Gate 3 is actually cheaper than Avowed by about $10.
Okay,
and that is a lot. But it's just I think the funniest thing by far is that we're in the era of how come this isn't as good as Baldur's Gate 3, which is going to last like a long time. And the reason it's funny is because from the year 2000 to like the year fucking 2009 when Mass Effect 2 came out, I don't know if you remember, because you might not have been into this particular subgenre of RPG, but of CRPGs, the refrain was, why isn't this as good as Baldur's Gate 2?
Oh.
Was a thing for like a decade.
I see. Okay. Interesting.
Because Baldur's Gate 2 was like the largest scale RPG of its era by orders of magnitude.
I feel like what I've always heard about is like Fallout in terms of like being able to do anything. Why aren't there more games like that? Was
because it's hard.
A comparison point. Yeah.
Because it's hard as fuck.
Understandable.
I think Bethesda talked a lot about like, hey, how come you guys haven't fixed that bug where you pick up items and all the items fall down on the table because it recalculated the physics, and they were like, because we're calculating like 5,000 objects physics in a room, and we have to keep them loaded into the cell so that when you leave and then come back, all the items are still correctly tallied in the cell. It's fucking hard. It's really hard.
What's funny about holding games up to unfair comparison points that are like really standout good examples in the genre, though, is that with there was a time when we would touch an action game and be like, I wish it was a bit more like Devil May Cry. And
Yeah,
it's like that's not
that continues to this day.
but it's like oh, well, that's not fair. It's the peak of the fucking genre. But yeah, I do too. And then fast forward to, hey, look, everyone has high times into aerial raves. Everyone's doing a stinger. Everyone's doing, know, and you're just like, oh, it took a while, but we got here.
Has high time into aerial rave.
Yeah, like it took a while, but we kind of got there. It's weird to see it happen after a period of time, and it's not always going to be good, but the bones are there.
But yeah, no. If do you remember Ain't It Cool News and their movie review system, which was fucking was it full price matinee and wait for home video? I think it was. Angry Centaur Gaming ACG has an incredibly similar thing, which is buy it day one, wait for a sale or pass. Avowed is very much a wait for a sale kind of game. It's good, and I really like it. And I'm a huge mark for Pillars, but for the average person, I would say that there's like a lot better place to use your full priced dollars.
Yeah. Okay. So
by the way, I got the game for free.
Yes. Oh, true.
Just letting everybody know.
Hashtag, code.